Well, hi, welcome back to Painting with KQ. We are working on Shipwreck Island. So let me explain where we're at very quickly. We have a background here. I put a little bit of a beach in here, just a suggestion for water. We'll finish this up later once we get the main players in. I have a rock formation I'm working on today. Just put in a little bit of background color here for a beach. Some water in here, some underwater rocks. That should be a lot of fun. Here is our shipwreck here. It's leaning this way. And you can see I put some rocks here, and here's what I'm thinking. We'll see if it works. When we put the shipwreck in here, what I'm planning on is having the ribs broken open to where you can see some of the water in the background and some of the rocks that will be running down like this. And the ship will cover the rest of this. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll worry about other things like the balancing all the clouds, the colors, and pulling your eye into the painting as we get there. For right now, I'm here, and what I'm planning on doing is finishing out a lot of this first, or getting a lot of this mostly done, put the main player in, the shipwreck, and then come back and rebalance all this so it all fits together. Makes sense, right? So I have a few highlight colors here for my rocks, and has the usual culprits in there, except for the one oddball, that is orange. I've got some orange mixed in here and there that you could barely see. And what I'm doing today, I'm going to make this rock stand out this way further, like it's closer to you, and finish these guys out. Then what I'm planning on doing is making this look like it's partly buried in the sand. And we'll also incorporate a little sand up here in some of these nooks and crannies, like it's been blown up there. And again, making this look like a real uninhabited island. I put these random marks into the sand because if this was a regular beach with people on it, you could put footprints and all that. But this is very random, so we want very random underpaints. And that's what I've done. So I'm going to start with some gray. And I'm going to put a little bit of blue to that, and I want it a bit on the light side. So I'm just mixing that together here like we do. And I'm going to take right next to this, I'm going to make even brighter gray. So I have this gray here, which is kind of a mid gray, and then a light gray. And what I'm looking for is to start improving these edges and making this rock stand out a little bit more. And you can see how all of a sudden this piece starts standing out. And that's exactly what I was looking for. And in my mind, as we get closer down to this beach, this rock is probably getting darker and darker. Then I'm going to blend this edge so it's not so stark and looking out of place. So I'm going for this edge up here. I hope you can see that. And this, if you've painted a while, and I know a lot of you have been with us in the past, this is pretty straightforward. It's not that fancy. But what I do want is some texture on this. And what I'm using is just a little 1/4 inch flat. And putting some details in here. And again, I put these cracks in here just to give it some character. I have these rocks kind of rounded, and I wanted this one flat so it would stand out. And I think it's starting to do that. So we're going to brighten up these edges just a little bit more. Blending those together, getting a little texture in there so it looks rocky. To me, if I blend too much with my fingertip, I lose the rocky looking edge. So I can reestablish that with that nice flat surface on this type of a brush. And you see the texture that we're getting there. And I really like to blend those edges out so it doesn't stand out like it's out of place. The other thing is, don't let me forget, I want to break up this kind of a perfect line here. It's not perfect, but I want it a little more jagged. I saw a painting, it was very good. Someone was doing a demo, but the whole idea was the water and the beach, and it was all perfect like that. That is not me, because it's rare to see a beach that looks like that. Oh, you may have been to some, but they're not the usual. They're a little more random. What I'm doing now is I'm darkening this up some. I want to keep the bright edge that makes this rock formation stand out, but I'm kind of dry brush blending a little texture in, and at the same time I am darkening this up. Now, when I first did these, this rock had a lot more convolution to it, and I took that out because I wanted it more rounded instead of all angular rocks. And that is totally up to you whenever you're painting. You look at it, if you like it, it's great. You don't, you change it. And it's very simple to do. Just take it a bit at a time and work with it some. And you can see how very quickly we start to have some rocky looking rocks. So I am going to take a little filbert type, but it has kind of square shoulders to it. This kind of brush, and I'm going to work with this little guy down here. Now what I did, these rocks are kind of recessed in the back. This one's pushed up this way. This one's in the front because I wanted that variety to give it a more 3D look. And that's exactly how we do this. Between the rocks, I left some dark spaces, and that's how we get that 3D look. This rock, you could tell, is behind there. You have that dark spot, that dark crevice there. And then we have light spots here. And it makes this rock jump in front of that. You can also take the dark, like the dark bottom of this one, and put it against these lighter rocks, and that puts this one in the foreground, in the front. So now what I'm going to do with this guy, I'm going to take a little bit of the gray paint we're using, and I'm going to take some orange as well. And put it in there, give us a little texture. And to give it a more 3D look, I can take some black and blue together, darken the bottom, and we can give this guy a little bit of texture. And one of the things I don't like is this is the same as this on these edges, and that's an easy fix. I just add a little or a darker color to this, darken it down, and our rock starts to take shape that quickly, and it fits in with the other pieces. Now I think what I want to do is put a little bit of texture on the underside of this rock. So we'll take our 1/4 inch flat, and just put a little texture to that. See how it kind of gives that life? And I have a lot of different colors in here. If you've painted with me before, you know I love color. So there is orange in here, there's blue, there's brown. Oh, the only thing I don't have in there is red at this particular time. But I enjoy putting those colors in there, as you all probably know by now. And what I'm doing, I'm reestablishing that highlight on the outside of this rock. And I'm thinking that I'm getting pretty happy with that. These are acrylics, so I'll let them dry a little bit and then come back and either darken or lighten whatever I think needs to happen, and away we go. So I think what we're going to do is sit with that the way that it is, and then the next time what we'll do is we'll get the sand in and work with the water. And I'm thinking I want to go a pretty light sandy color like we have over here, and keep this kind of bright. And then we'll start, the last thing we'll do after we work on the water and the sand, we'll work on the boat. So anyway, that helps you a little bit today with some of the detailing and the planning for success. We did that from the very beginning by keeping this muted, making this sharper. This is going to be very sharp and kind of sitting in front of the rocks. So we'll see you next time here at Painting with KQ. And as always, we appreciate you being here. And we'll see you next time. I hope you have an incredible day. Bye now.